my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Hello, Namaste, Sat good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. We are here once again to talk about a very, very important topic, which almost many of the people, they had the phobia at their time, and it is still existing. We are going to talk about mathematics, especially when it comes to middle school students, they start having phobia of mathematics. So how to make it joyful, that is what we call joy of mathematics. This is what we are going to take away with today's session. Without taking any time, I'll introduce you to the very first eminent guest present over here. We have Dr. Manila Carvo, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Bangalore, that is DPS East. Ma'am doesn't need any introduction. As I was telling before the starting of the session, I was telling her, ma'am, so many call came on your behalf, people calling that, praising about you, that Manila ma'am is really awesome. She's doing a wonderful work. And it's our privilege to have you here, ma'am. First of all, thank you so much for coming up to the show.
Pleasure being here.
As ma'am, you have come for the very first time, we will like to know about you, ma'am, about your educational journey. Did you came into this profession by chance or by choice, and from a teacher to a senior principal?
Oh, yes. When I finished my graduation, those days, we did not have many choices of career. We had only doctor, engineer, and teacher's profession. And my parents felt at that time, I think being a girl, teaching profession is very good. And those days, I think we are very obedient. We followed that. And immediately after my graduation, I registered for my B.Ed and I completed my B.Ed. And I registered for my M.Ed, and by then I had to get married and I came up to Bangalore. And it's 31 years since I'm married, I'm in Bangalore. And my husband was so supportive. He made me complete my M.Ed. Then I did my MSc in psychology, and then I have done my PhD in psychology as well. My main forte is on the mental health of the students. I do a lot of sessions and I do a lot of counseling for the children of senior secondary school, and also to the parents in terms of how to reduce stress and how to manage life. And I'm the founder principal of Delhi Public School Bangalore East, which is into the 17th year now. We have from kindergarten to standard 12, almost 9,000 children there. And we give a lot of importance for sports. So large number of our children are into sports and they play at the state and the international level as well. And to facilitate these children who are not regular to school, I also started with National Institute of Open Schooling in the campus. We do have regular schooling for these children where they come to school and spend time with the other children. Otherwise, studying from remote, from back home, they will not get a chance to interact with the others. So to maintain better mental health, I generated these classroom sessions for the children where they mix with the CBSE children as well. And, they cannot make out that they are from NIS. Only when they do the examination, they go to the board. And NIS is being very, very flexible in offering various choices of subjects. So it becomes interesting for the children to take it up. And we have a lovely set of staff who is always cheerful and motivated. And we are always there, open to learn. So we are TEDx license holders as well. So we have for the student TEDx sessions. And we believe in children organizing and hosting the events. So many a times, many news channels and education channels and all, they reach out to me to give them students so that children can host the events. So I do encourage a lot of these things. So many children are there on air from our school.
That's wonderful, ma'am. Great, ma'am. And from scratch, you started the school. Yes. And getting a strength of 9,000 plus students in your school with a lot of competition, because there are n number of schools in Bangalore, uncountable schools in Bangalore, and competing with them and bringing up the standard of the school. You have given your, 17 years for that. Hats off to you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a privilege that you have come to the show. Hope to have a good session with you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me here.
Same here, ma'am. Next, we have Shamla VP ma'am. She is the principal of Jangan Man Jangan Man School in Thane. It is happening nowadays that when I'm calling few principals, they have changed their school. I mean, I came to know that ma'am is in some other school like Marathon Vidyapeeth. Now she's in. She said, no, I've changed the school now. So I changed the school now. So this is happening a lot these days because this is the time for the changes. So it's happening good for the principals, and they are growing also. We also need growth. Thank you so much, Amla ma'am, for coming up to the show. Ma'am,
Thanks a
please
lot,
let
sir.
us know.
Am I
Ma'am,
audible?
please. Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Thank you.
Please,
Thank you,
please
sir.
let us know about yourself, ma'am.
Sir, I have done my MSc in zoology and MA in education I have did, and I'm from past 27 years, I'm in this education field, serving for the education. Last 10 years from I'm holding this principal post in Mumbai itself, born and brought up in Mumbai. And it's okay, noble job. Happy, I'm happy. Everything is happy. As ma'am has said, we do a lot for children. So same, I would like to add up for that. It's a student-centered education that we are giving to the children. At our center, we have degree college also, and the state board, and plus we have a filmmaking unit. Means we are JMF, means the foundation, the trust. We produce films, we direct films, and we give them teachings also there. Means a training session is also there for students, and a paramedical courses are there in our institutions, and BSc nursing is there. Apart from that, some vocational courses are there at our center. So
I mean,
that's
it's just like a mall. Everything, every brand you will find it inside only. You'll get nursing
Yes, sir.
also. You'll get boards also. I mean, college also. You will find out. A state board also, and other boards. CBSE, I think your school is
CBSE is
CBSE.
also there.
CBSE, ma'am, and you are having that theater one also. Have you left something for some others, ma'am? Please, your management. Really great. It's really great, ma'am.
Thanks
Really
a lot.
great, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming up to the show.
Thank
Next,
you,
we have a very decent and beautiful lady, that is Meera Sundaran, ma'am. She is a principal of a very prestigious institution itself in Bangalore, that is the Schools for Global Minds. And the way when I saw her photograph and that pic what she had sent, the vibes what were coming out from her was just like, you see, everybody will become your fan. Thank you so much, Meera ma'am, first of all, for coming up to the show. And always Bangalore people are very good. Whenever I've interacted with Bangalore people, and today, so it's my luck, I'm having two Bangalore people, and those are very good. Third one is Mr. Nirmal Shah also. His son is also the expert, is also from Bangalore only, coincidentally. Meera ma'am, please tell us about yourself, ma'am.
Good evening, dear friends. I
Good
don't know
evening.
how he got my contact. I was surprised. First, I found on YouTube whether it is a genuine person whom I can send my photograph to. And I'm Meera, born and brought up in Mumbai. Either, like Manila ma'am said, we had two options, either go into IAS or go into teaching professions. These are the two options available. I cleared my IAS exam, but I think destiny was to be a teacher. I started my career in Mumbai. I was born and brought up there. I studied in Borivali, a small suburb. I lived there till I was almost 30. My husband was at LIC, so we had moved places. That's how I have been teaching in Goa, in Gujarat. Finally, we came to Kerala, where my daughter took up an engineering course. I settled in a school in Thrissur in Kerala and was the principal for 17 years in the ICC school. I have seen decades, 4 decades of children passing out. Nothing much has changed. Children are the same, except the gadgets have come in. Otherwise, it is more or less the same. While going to school, I saw the DPS East school bus. I used to think, why does this bus have to come into the campus when we are already there? We are in the Brigade campus at Devanahalli, very close to the airport. A beautiful school, started in 2021. When I came the management requested if I could join them, help build the school. I was the founder principal in Kerala. We started with 50 children, and then when I left in 2020 due to personal reasons, we almost had 2,000 children. When I joined in 2021 in this school, we had around 40 to 44 children. We have now grown to 300 plus. Hope to increase the strength. As a teacher, one thing that I always love is to be with the children. You find my door always open. Parents sometimes ask me, how do you allow them to come in? They are not scared of you. But I am a person who believes that once a child has the freedom, it is easy for us to correct them. It is very important to give them that trust and faith that they should have in us as teachers. And teaching is one profession where you remain young throughout. You never grow old. And very recently, I did my M.Ed exam, and I was as excited like a little child waiting for the results to come. I said, hey, I passed the exam. Amidst all this, the results just came in last week, and I finished where I had to reach. My family is very supportive. They take pride in what I do. Hence, the going is very smooth. Thank you for having me here. Hope to have a nice time with all of you.
Pleasure is mine, ma'am. We are coming for a party this weekend for your passing the M.Ed.
You're most
There's
welcome.
no age. Ma'am, I always claim that we principals are always between 3 to 18 age. We will never grow above 18 because you see, what happens in my school is my small kids, they love me too much. So I just say that, yaar, ek Sardar ji ko dadele Sardar ji ke sath kaise pyar kar lete. One or two small girls, she has come into grade 1 now. So she, when the school is over, she comes into my office. She hugs me, kisses me, and goes away. And you see the feeling, whatever stress you had throughout the day. So these small kids they are the stress busters. You know, it feels awesome talking to these kids. That is why we say we are in the noblest profession, and we are proud to be principals or teachers, no matter the way how we came by chance or by choice. But we are loving it as of now. Thank you so much, Meera. Thank you so much. Anirudh sir is there. Good evening, Anirudh Chitra sir. Good evening, sir. You can hear me, sir? Sir, you're on mute.
Good evening, Chandhok sir.
Good evening, sir. Sir, case was also like this, sir. When I came to know about sir, he was in DPS. When I came to know, called him, he had changed the school. Dayavati Dharma Vita Public School, Bijnor. Anirudh sir, yes, sir. Thank you so much, Anirudh sir, for coming up to the show. We were just having the introduction of the principals about their journey in education field. Sir, please, you also have come for the very first time. Please let us know about your educational journey, sir.
Good evening, everyone present over here. I started my career long back in 1995. Right, and then I joined this school in Bareilly, CBSE school as a PGT Maths. And then I reached to Birla School, Birla Nainital, Laniket. And then from there I reached BIPS. And after completing 10 years as the PGTA, head of the department in mathematics, I reached to Bigger Shoes, principal at Edmonton Senior Secondary School at Nepal border, and completed my 18. I'm going to complete 18 years as a principal on this 30th of the March, and taking mathematics on a day-to-day basis. We have something 3,500 children here. In one or the other way, this school is also belongs to the DPS society.
Okay.
Right, because this is a school established by Ashok Chandraji long back. It is their family school. So I worked with this school in 2018, and then I was called by DPS Kurukshetra, and then again they called me back here. Right, so master trainer
That's
from
wonderful.
CBSE side, sir. Delivered more than 200 workshops offline on different topics. But every time I noticed that, yes, miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep, sir.
That's wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Thank you so much, sir, once again for coming up to the show. Hope to have a good session with you. And of course, you are also a maths expert, so we'll get a lot of knowledge from you also. We'll come up to the next guest, that is Pramila Sharma, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Jodhpur, that is B.R. Birla Public School. Welcome, Pramila, ma'am. Nice to see you after a long time.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir Abdit, sir, again. We are in a meeting, in a virtual meeting. And basically, when I got a message from sir, I also said the same thing. Ki, sir, maths, not my cup of tea. But ultimately, like, we are the principal. So obviously, uh, I started my journey with the education only. Like, I was having the passion of teaching when I was like in college. I used to teach my siblings and all my cousins and all. We were in a joint family, so from there only my parents come to know that she is having a passion of teaching and she will be going there only. And I completed my BSc, then MA in English, B.Ed, and then I started my teaching. Worked as a TGT English, then PGT English, and then as a vice principal. I was there in Jaipur for last 11 years. I was working as a coordinator and then promoted to vice principal. And then because you all are, principals for 17 years, 20 years or so many years, I'm principal for the last 2 years. So, but yes, because I was working as a vice principal and principal was the honor. So, she has given me that space to grow. So this school is like a dream come true for me, and I'm having 1,000 plus students, and from like Pink City to Sun City, I came. Different things are there. I always like emphasizes for my kids like on skill subjects. This is my tagline that be a job giver instead of job seeker. So I used to, encourage my kids. I have, taken the subjects legal studies and EP recently. And the purpose behind EP was just to, give them an exposure to become an entrepreneur. Recently G20 was also, a part of, Jodhpur was also a part of it. So we were very happy. And I told my kids that G20 is here because we have taken entrepreneur subject and you are also going to be a part of it. So this is my,
Wonderful.
way of, teaching the children that be an entrepreneur. I want them to be independent. So this
Right.
is the way I'm working, sir.
That's wonderful, ma'am. And we all are teachers and learners.
Yes.
Teachers, because we'll always remain teachers. Maybe we have become principals, but always remain teachers by heart, and learners till the last breath we take. Thank you so much, Prablama ma'am, for joining the show. Next, we come up to the expert of today, Mr. Nirmal Shah. Sir is the co-founder of Counting Well. He's the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learner app for middle schoolers. Their goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. They have made design making career lessons based on for the age between 10 to 14, built around maths, and their funda is kids must know that maths matter and will matter throughout their life. The best way to do that is to show them how. So this is, a formal introduction of sir, but as we see that a few of us have always had a fear of mathematics when in our school time. It is happening from ages. It is happening still now. When I met sir in one of the show, I came to know about these type of AI-based tools. So I had just discussed with him that, sir, what is this? How can we help the teachers? How can we help the students to bring out that phobia, bring out that phobia of that, and they may have interest in mathematics. So on our request, he's coming from few episodes and he's making us learn, because I want that this thing or this topic should go on with the students, and their focus should be moved throughout the country. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir, for coming up to the show. Please, first of all, we like to know that why did it came into your mind to start up this, this counting well, which is based on mathematics.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to be here. And it's wonderful to see two other Bangaloreans here. That has never happened on, at least on any of the episodes that I have been on. So, why we started counting well for mathematics, right? I went through the same kind of maths phobia that everybody keeps talking about. So, my first encounter with maths phobia was when I moved from sixth grade to seventh grade. I changed schools at that time, and I had moved from a state board school to a CBSE school. And at that time, it was a big deal. It was a huge change in the syllabus and content, and I was totally out of place where I went. And fortunately for me, the math teacher was an amazing teacher. She was such a wonderful person. The first test that I had in the new school, in the new grade, I failed miserably. And instead of branding me a failure, she actually took the effort of making sure that I catch up over the next few months. And I think that uh, personal attention which I got was very, very important to my overcoming that fear and phobia around mathematics. And what I realized after that, and after that, I went on to have a career in information technology. I was managing an IT services business for almost 18, 19 years. And then we started counting well. But when I was doing that, one of the things we used to do was hire a lot of people from IITs. And during that whole hiring process, one part of the interview would be on logical, analytical things, thinking skills, very basic math abilities, and things like that. And what I observed was that while a lot of these children were very good, or a lot of these students were very good in uh, so-called theoretical maths, right? So if you ask them a particular theorem and explain that, or particular mathematical concept and explain that, they would do that very well as long as it was out of the textbook. But the moment it was something which was, let's say, one level below, which was a very basic level, I started seeing that they were lacking in those areas. And the kind of gaps which I had observed in myself, I could see that they still existed even in this generation of people who were coming out, right? And then after that, I saw the same thing with my own son. When he moved into middle school, I could see a change in his attitude. When earlier he would be very, very excited about homework. The moment he came home, the first thing he did was complete his homework. But after that, what he used to do was, once he got into sixth grade and above, I could see that change. He would make excuses. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I need to go play with my friends. A lot of stories would come up. And the homework would be the last thing he would do, especially if it was math homework, right? And that math homework was done kicking and screaming and fighting, and there would be, a lot of fireworks in the house before that homework would even get completed. So I tried to understand why this is happening. And what I realized is that, maths anxiety is not simply because they are not able to cope up with the subject. Because after all, up to fifth grade, they were doing pretty well. And it was just fifth to sixth, right? So where is the question of not coping up? So why are they not able to cope up? And that is when my co-founder and I, we started talking about this. And we figured that, is there something that we can do about it? And we went on to create a kind of an assessment to determine why children are not able to cope with maths and why they are developing math anxiety. And as part of the assessment, what we did was, instead of trying to focus on what topics they don't know, which is what a typical assessment does, we tried to understand what are the skills which they lack while they try to solve the problems, And is that the cause of the maths anxiety? And what we found out was something very interesting. So one of the key findings was that language is the biggest barrier to their ability to solve math problems. Right? What we found is that a lot of kids, whichever city we take, right? We take a big city like Bangalore or Delhi, or we take smaller towns, we find that one, English is not our primary language. And, many a times the parents are not as well versed, or at least they are not as involved with the children once they start getting into middle school when it comes to learning. And because of that, what was happening is that the children were not even able to understand the problem right, and they were straight away jumping into solving math problems. And not being able to understand the problem right was because of this whole language barrier, right? So in 6th grade and above, they start seeing word problems, and they really need to be able to decipher the problem to understand what is given, what they have to find out, and things like that before they actually solve the problem. But what they really do or tend to do is straight away jump into solving the problem. They just try to think that this must be the formula, this must be the step, and just apply. And especially in CBSE, there are marks for steps, so let me at least write a couple of steps, and I'll get some marks at least. So as a result of that, they don't become great problem solvers. They just try to repeat some things which they see either in the textbook or in the classroom or while they have been practicing math. Right. The second thing which we observed is that they have no sense of strategy. So they do not try to kind of model a solution. They do not try to say that this should be my strategy to arrive at the final answer. Again, they straight away jump into finding a formula or applying a particular formula, and just trying to determine what that final answer is going to look like. So these were two very critical areas which we found that they were lacking, and these are skills, right? These are not something that you would find in a textbook and expect the child to read and learn them. It is something which will come out of practice, which will come out of facilitated learning. So we found that these were major gaps, and I tried to then try to see if my son and his group of friends were also facing the same thing. And I tried to work with them to understand, if we change the way they are solving the problems, is that going to affect or improve their ability to solve problems? And I could see that change. So that was basically the start of Counting Well, that we identified these problem areas, and then we did some pilots with a few schools, about 4,000 or 5,000 students took our assessment, and we went back to the school principals and we said, look, this is all we have found, right? We find that language is a barrier, children are not able to model solutions, all these kind of things. And they came back and said, everybody comes and tells us that there are so many problems, but nobody tells us how do we fix it, right? We all know that teachers teach in a certain way. That whole system is kind of very, very boxed. So if we need to get out of that and think in that different way, we don't have the solution. That's why we're just sticking to that same way of teaching for so many years. So that's when we realized that Counting Well, one, needs to be able to not just do an assessment and say this is the problem, but it needs to be able to also give a solution to the problem, right? It needs to be able to help children overcome these gaps. And second, we cannot leave the school out of this whole ecosystem. If we leave the school out, it means that we are not actually facilitating learning. We are just creating a parallel path, a tangential path, so to speak. And that is only going to confuse the children more rather than actually make them involved in that whole learning process. So, that's how Counting Well was born. It became a platform which could be used by schools to do this whole assessment driven learning, and then help the children overcome their problems with math problem solving.
And you also told us, sir, when you did these pilot sessions with the students, you did it with the teachers also. Correct.
We did. So, I think it was the principal's curiosity, right? So when we went back with these results, we had gone to 4 schools, and all 4 of them requested if we could do the same assessment on their teachers who were teaching this group of children. And not coming from that education background, as such, we did not know what to expect out of that, right? So there was a lot of curiosity and excitement amongst us as well when we made the teachers go through this assessment. And what we found was two very interesting things. One was more or less on expected lines. Wherever the children had the gaps, even the teachers had the gaps, right? So it was very obvious that it was kind of flowing down, right? Whatever the teacher was not very familiar with or comfortable with, obviously, when they teach somebody else, they would not be able to create that level of familiarity with the set of children. The other very shocking thing that we found was, and I think I say that on every episode of your show, sir, but it was shocking because one of the teacher, she called me and she said, look, this is a problem from 6th grade curriculum or 6th grade syllabus, and I'm an 8th grade teacher. I do not know about this topic. I cannot solve it. So, it was very shocking, right? Why would, especially in math, if it is some other subject, I can understand. If it's geography, maybe in 6th grade you teach something else, and 8th grade you teach something else. But math is something which builds up. So why would you not know something from 6th grade and only know something in 8th grade? But as we talked to the principals, we also realized that this is a real problem, that the teachers are so much bound by the amount of content that they have to complete within 6-7 months, right? They have to complete a very vast syllabus. We're talking about what, 15 odd chapters and 6 months of effective learning. So, effectively they have to complete a chapter every 2 weeks. And within that, if we expect them to then go back and connect with some other chapter or talk about English language skills and things like that, it is not very practical. So
Right.
it was not simply a teacher capability problem that was there, but along with the teacher capability problem, there was also the problem of how practical it is for teachers to be able to go outside their curriculum, right? So that was a great learning that we had out of this whole process as well.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you for coming up to the show and letting us. We'll have more, knowledge from you in the later part of the session. We'll come up to the first round and request you all to keep the answer precise. Manila ma'am, will come up to you first. We would like to know your views on the saying that when children reach middle school, they start having fear or phobia of mathematics. What are the reasons behind it?
Well, we cannot generalize the statement to every child, but there are large number of children who do like maths also. Of course, it is put in the mind of every child that maths is difficult. You need to work hard on it. You spend a lot of long hours in that. So naturally, child grows up with that thought in mind. And when children reach the middle school, if the maths concepts taught in the earlier classes are not clear, then they definitely find it difficult to comprehend the next level of difficulty, because every class, the difficulty level increases. So this makes them hate maths, for they put in a lot of efforts, but results are not shown. So even the math teacher plays a very important role. If the children like maths, there are children, they like maths because they love the teacher, because of her warmth, because of the skill she possesses in teaching maths. So because of the teacher, they start loving maths. Or they may hate maths because the teacher is not cordial, she's not supportive, she's not clearing the concept. They may hate maths. This could be another reason. Another important thing is you cannot memorize maths. Children they can memorize the formula to derive at an answer, but you cannot memorize the entire sum for during the assessment. But the procedure is given, you may follow the same procedure, but numericals are different. And you are not arriving at the same answer. This also makes the children feel that maths is very difficult.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You're absolutely right. This has to be understood instead of learning it. Thank you. We'll come up to Shamla ma'am. Shamla ma'am, we will also like to know your views that why do children dislike mathematics, especially when they come in middle school?
Sir, first thing is that, sir, we put in their mind, okay, maths is tough subject, and initially in the initial year, it's just counting, addition, subtraction, multiplication. It's very easy for them. And when they come to the middle school, these all word sums and concepts comes and formulas, all those are coming, which they have to memorize. And second thing is that, sir, the teacher, they have to, the teacher should be cordial with them, communicate with them in a proper way. Because according to my experience, when my cousin used to teach me, I used to understand maths. and till 8th standard. My cousin used to teach. And after that, when the teachers have changed in 8th standard, so I was not able to understand the concept, because teacher used to solve on the board, and remaining sums they used to give us to solve at home. Ki these are all same. Okay, so you do it in the house and you come. So that was a difficult part for us. And when we came in 10th standard, it was like the teacher only was solving everything. I don't know why, but they never allowed us to solve. The connection was not there. So that's why we lost the interest in doing maths. So then afterwards in the science I took, but I haven't took math subject. I took biology in 11th and 12th standard. No, so that I think the teacher is the main person who should be the connecting part in between the maths and the student. And I think a lot of memorization is there, as madam has said. You have to memorize so many things. The child will do if teacher is good. So that is my
Right,
point.
ma'am.
The teacher has to be very good. So then only the maths, and the second is we put the concept in their mind. Maths
So
is
that
hard.
so we can sum up with this, that the teachers, they had been teaching the same way they had been taught during their time. They are not changing themselves. The teachers
Yes, sir.
coming up to the class, putting up 3-4 questions, doing on the board. Okay, exercise is over. You have to do it as a homework. Otherwise, you'll get punishment. So the
Yes,
child is
sir.
taking copy the notebook from someone else, copying it out, and saying, "Oh, homework has been done." So
Yes.
this concept is still happening in many schools as of now. It's happening. This has to be removed. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
We'll
you.
come up to Anurodh, sir. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, in your opinion, according to you, in your opinion, why do middle school students lose interest in mathematics? Being a mathematics teacher, you can give more views on this.
I appreciate the point of views the other panelists they have said here, but we need to understand that the job of the teacher is not to provide the knowledge to the children, but to provide the thirst for the knowledge. That is important. And because, as I told you in the opening remarks, that I do take math classes on a day-to-day basis, I hardly solve a single question for the children. My role in the classroom is just for 5%. 95% it is to just give the motivation to the children and to ensure that yes, they are doing the things at their own, and they get the realization that yes, the teacher doesn't know anything and we are better than the teachers. The most important part. First of all, we need to give the level playing field. Today, mathematics has become an international problem. Militancy is not. This is what we need to understand. And it has become an international problem. It is because of we math teachers. Do you know, sir, why it is happening and how has it happened? If I'll reach to Chandhok sir, then I will, and if I'm traveling by the car, then I will use the GPS. Am I right, sir? But
Yes,
if
sir.
I'm frequently visiting to your place, sir, then after 3 times, 4 times, right, GPS will not be required. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes, sir.
What we people are doing there, the children are sitting first time in the classroom of the class 6, 7, 8. It is absolutely a new concept for them. I, as a teacher, is doing the question, solving the problem from last many years. It is just a cup of tea for me. And when I solve the most difficult problem just in a few seconds there, children, they come in trauma. They get mesmerized. Oh, sir is a magician. Sir has solved the question. He is very smart. He is very intelligent. I am dumb. Without saying anything by the teacher, the children take this notion in the mind that yes, we are dumb. And then what they are doing there, they are looking for the tuitions. The sir is very intelligent. His level of teaching is very high. Are you getting my point? And then they are going for some level playing teacher there. Those who are the teacher who is of their standard. Then they are going to tuition A, But again, tuition A, the same thing is happening. Then they are going to be there. And then what the ma'am has said that after class 10, she changed to the biology. There is a theory of constructivism. It was given by John Dewey. It basically depends on the 5B model. Engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. If suppose we all are the math teacher, I am a learner of the maths, I have not started my journey. When we talk about the mathematics, if yesterday I was there in Rudrapur, I was conducting a program there, teachers training program, principal training program was there, and then math teacher, incidentally, they were present there. When I inquired from the teachers that yes, how do you teach Pythagoras theorem? It is there in class 6, 7, 8 there. It is there in class 9 also. So they had given their own ideas. This is the way, and that was the way, and that was really good. But I told that yes, how I do teach the Pythagoras theorem. I just used to tell the children, I have no idea about the Pythagoras theorem. I have heard about the name of this. I even don't know that what is the spelling of the Pythagoras. Just on a lighter note, right? Okay, now let's start that. Now just tell me what is a point. Now I try to take the things from the children because the definition of point is not a cup of tea for the children. They develop their metacognition skill, what they know and what they don't know. Are you getting my point, sir? But they try to improvise and they give me the definition of the point. Okay, 1 point, now the 2 points are there. If 2 points are there and if you will join the points, what you are going to get? I'm going to get the line. Okay, what is the definition of the line? Okay, no problem, move ahead. If we have the 3 points, then, sir, we will get this triangle or a straight line. Okay, what kind of triangles are there? So these kind of triangles are there: A triangle, B triangle, C triangle, 10 type of triangle, 15. Okay, fine. Then if someone says that, sir, there is a right angle triangle. What is a right angle triangle? Okay, sir, where there is a 90 degree angle. Okay, now just draw a right angle triangle. Okay, now draw another right angle. Now draw another right angle triangle. 3 triangles you have drawn there. Measure the sides. All right, sir. Measure the sides, longest side and the other 2 sides there. Square the sides and see that is there any common relation is there? Something equally happening with all the triangles? Oh yes, sir. What is that? Sir, h square is coming equals to p square plus b square. So it was given by the Pythagoras. It means you are equal to Pythagoras. He was not smarter than you. And even I had no idea about it. This is being discovered by you. So you are Pythagoras. What is your name? So this is not Pythagoras theorem. It is Anuro's theorem. Are you getting my point? So that way we used to boost the morale of the children. We don't have to pass the information, sir. Information is available everywhere, anywhere, sir. On one stroke of the mouse, sir, you can, if I write the knowledge, then you will get more than 10,000 pages on the knowledge, sir. We are living in a different era. They are not the empty vessels. Are you getting my point? But the question is, the teacher must have the fire inside, sir. The teacher must have the fire inside, and he has to ensure that yes, because of my presence, these children are going to learn something. And that is why we have reached from learning objectives to the learning outcomes there. Learning outcomes means every child is achieving something, sir.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So wonderful.
Thank
I
you,
was just listening to you that I have gone out of the world and listening to what beautiful things you are saying. And we can also say that the teacher expects that the child in front of me or children in front of me are of my mental level. No, the teacher has to go down to the mental level of the kids. Then only you will be able to teach. And this is happening. Okay, they think that whatever mental level I'm having, the students are also having the same. And that is why it becomes a sir has done something magic. And that gradually becomes a phobia of the kids. Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Well explained, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Meera ma'am now. Meera ma'am, we will also like to know your opinion on the saying that middle school students lose interest in mathematics. Why?
Now, middle school is grades 5, 6, 7. So they are in the age group 8 to 10. After having their primary education with mathematics is quite simple compared to the middle school. I had this little child in grade 5. She used to come to me just before the math period, which I realized later. She had a stomach pain on all the days. Putting 2 and 2 together, I just found out that she's scared of math. That's why she has the stomach pain, which is artificially created. As soon as the bell rings, she's fine. She goes back to the class. Then I went to the class. I sat with the child to find out where and what is wrong. Now, unlike language, where you can show your creativity, your handwriting, you can score marks. So ultimately, whether it is the teacher or the parent, everybody wants marks. Math is something that has a multi-level skill and processing that has to be done. You just cannot write. You need to have interdisciplinary skill to understand the concept, to apply the formula, to derive the answer. So it is a complex situation. So math is not just when the bell rings, you forget, you leave. You have to go a little deep into it. So pedagogical skills have to be implemented, train the teachers to have patience. And then when you put across a concept, once the understanding comes, learning automatically happens and the child is able to solve the problems. Now, all these multi-step problems or processes that are involved, it needs to be repeated again and again so that the child assimilates it and then implements it. Now, doing it repeatedly, there is monotony, there is impatience among the children, and they tend to give up. So, as teachers, they have to coax the children to do it repeatedly. We always tell, write and then learn. So, math is something that has to be done every day. You cannot just learn before an exam like how you do all the other subjects. So, actual failure experience in math and fear of future failure also leads to a lot of stress and tension in the children. To make it more appealing, as schools, we need to bring a drastic change in the teaching methodology so that the transition from middle school to high school and from primary school to middle school is smooth and the complexity gets a little diluted. We go slow, doesn't matter, but don't rush for covering the portion. What you do, the quality is important than the quantity. As they grow up, they will tend to learn more. But at that age, we don't have to put everything into their head. Let us take a little while so that they learn, they understand, and then that fear goes off. Once that demonic feeling, oh, it is math, that has to disappear, that has to go.
Wonderful, wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to now Prabhala ma'am. Prabhala ma'am, please suggest few ways in which we can make maths more interesting.
Thank you, sir. Really, I mean, the point of view of the principals here right now, as Meera ma'am was talking about the strategies, very true. We need to change the strategy of teaching mathematics. And nowadays, if I talk about that, let us bring mathematics to a real life experience. Talking about class 1, I'm talking about class 10. Wherever you are teaching mathematics, bring that to the real life experience. If suppose I'm talking about time, I'm teaching time. Now we need to teach the children in such a way. Suppose if I'm talking about time in class 2, 3, we are, I mean, introducing time. So they are very happy when they are having a short hand, a big hand, and the movement of the clock and all. But if the same time, if we are making that clock in a triangular way, most of the time it is like in a circle, we are putting the clock and we are, talking about the time. Now let us put it in the different shapes, sometimes rectangular, sometimes square, sometimes triangular. So we are introducing shapes also, we are introducing time also. And we are supposed to give them an experience in the sense that we can create a market. When you're talking about money, you can ask them, okay, these are some of the stationery like books and copies and other pencil and every other stationery items are there. And you, just prepare, 2-3 kids, they are having some money and they are going and they are, getting the things from. So they will learn the importance of money also, and they will learn the calculation of money also. Now here we need to coordinate with the parents also. Like if I'm teaching money today, started with the money chapter. So I will coordinate with the parents that now you allow your kids to give you the account of the vegetable or something like that. Like involve your children. I mean, when you are going for shopping at some grocery shop or something, so you can ask the kids, "Okay, now just do the counting and tell me." So there, the children they will also realize, "Ki really I'm very important. I'm very intelligent. I'm helping my mom in calculating the things." So this is where mathematics is there. If you're talking about cooking, the measurement of the ingredients, that is also the mathematics. If you're talking about sports, you are counting the balls, you are counting the toys, that is also mathematics. So let us take this mathematics from the class to the ground to somewhere outside to the real life situation. Second way,
Right.
if I feel like that some visuals we can use, and even, what I used to do, I ask my PGTs to go in substitution period in the junior section. Now, they are not supposed to teach over there. They simply use a paper and they used to prepare different shapes. They are asking the children, everybody is having a paper in their hand. So they are making it as a rectangular, how many corners are there, how many faces are there, then in the shape of a square. So in this way, with the help of paper mache only, they are teaching the mathematics simple rules, which are like very, important for kids. Like if you ask any student that how many faces are there of a square, how many corners are there. So sometimes it happens that they learn other things, but these are the simple things they should know it, but they don't know because it is all done on the board. So practical knowledge is very important. I'm having a
Right.
maths lab where all the children they have prepared the models. I haven't purchased it from somewhere else. I haven't done it from somewhere else. The kids they have prepared it. They have prepared the board games, puzzles. So all these things where the children are involved themselves in mathematics, that is the way to
Right.
teach them. So this is,
So
liking.
practical examples should be given to them. Like Anuradh sir was also saying that path theorem is being taught to how
Yes.
you have invented yourself. Like you were saying that give money to the student children and say them, okay, you have to buy these things and you have to give me the count of this. How much money is left with you? Where you spent it? What? So this way, practically, they'll get interest into the mathematics. Okay, with this, I have done mathematics also. Oh, it is from my syllabus also what I've done in the market. So that is also very important. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Nirmal sir. Nirmal sir, as an expert, first of all, your views on the first round. And as Meera ma'am was also saying that there should be quality, not quantity, but still the teachers have burden on their mind that we have to complete all the chapters, all the exercises, 40 minutes period with a 40 students class at least. How we are going to finish up with that? Because with quality, they cannot leave the chapters. Otherwise, they will have to leave the school because the parents will complain that all the things they have not been taught. So that is, we say that if you are going to in a school, you can easily identify mathematics teacher with a stress on their head. Okay, we have to do a lot of work. So how this stress can be removed, we will also like to know that also.
Sure, sir. So, I think most of the comments, if I see, they came on the lines of one, what is the teacher involvement and what kind of teacher is the quality of the teacher, right? Who is teaching the subject. And if the children feel connected with the teacher, then they find themselves more comfortable with the subject and they don't have the fear of the subject. And I think not just the fear of the subject, right? Sometimes it's the fear of the teacher as well. So uh, as an example, I mean, if the teacher gives you a math problem and you don't answer it right, or any problem for that matter, and the teacher keeps pointing out that you are not very smart for not answering this right, then the child starts to become a recluse, right? He stops answering questions in the class, and the other children also see that behavior and stop participating. So definitely the role of teacher is very important. How involved the teacher is, how open the teacher is, and how connected the teacher is with the children. The second point, I think, very interesting points came from Anurodh sir. Especially one is focus on learning outcomes instead of learning objectives, right? And I think that's very important, because when we keep focusing on learning objectives, we are just focusing on completing the syllabus. We are not focused on achieving a particular outcome at the end of doing something, right? Whatever that activity is. Whereas when the focus shifts to the learning outcome, then we start measuring it differently. I think the point is also how we measure the completion or how we measure that the children have learned something, right? Right now, that measurement is learning objectives. So, have I completed 10 learning objectives in this period of time? And having completed those 10 learning objectives, tick, 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 I have done my job, right? Whereas when you start measuring it by learning outcomes, then you ask, have all the children been able to achieve X, Y, Z? And only if they are able to achieve that, have you completed or have you done your job, right? And I think then that whole focus of the teacher will also start shifting to making sure that they are teaching the children and they are not teaching the subject alone, right? I think that's very, very important. That focus should shift from completing the topic to making sure that the children are learning. And of course, the other aspect which Pramila ma'am brought up is how do we connect the maths that they learn in the classroom to their real life. To some extent, we can involve them. And I think, again, that goes back to the teachers, right? That how involved the teachers are or how interesting the teachers want to make that whole learning process for the children. If the teachers are very involved, they will do these kind of things. They will tell the children that go home, talk to your parents about this, go home, do this, or sit in a group and try to discuss this and things like that. But if the teachers are not, if they are just focused on making sure that they solve these 4 problems on the board and then expect the children to solve the rest of the problems, then we will have the same set of issues and troubles that the children are facing, which they've always faced. So that's a kind of summarization of what I learned from conversation so far. But if I take it further, one of the things which I want to bring out here, which we have experienced at Counting Well over the last 2 years, 2 odd years that we have been operating, is that we need to empower the teachers to some extent. Right now, what is happening is that the only empowerment of teachers in most of the schools and most of the situations is whatever teacher training they get, which is fairly limited. And second, their B.Ed or M.Ed course, which they have done, which might have been many, many years ago, right? And the way of teaching has changed. The attitude of children has changed. The behavior of children has changed. But the teachers are still following the same thing which they have learned long back. So how do we empower them? So one of the things which we realized, and if we have to bring the focus back on things like learning outcomes, right? So one thing we realized is that we need to be able to show the teacher that the child has not achieved a certain learning outcome. And how do we do that? The very simple answer to that is do a formative assessment. The very difficult problem with that is it's very difficult to do it in the classroom. At most, what teachers do is they say, how many of you understood? And depending on the number of children who raise their hands, the teacher identifies or decides whether it is time to move on or should they explain the topic again, right? That's the only formative assessment which happens in most of the cases in most of the schools. There may be exceptions, but there are very few exceptions. So what we did, for example, was that we said that we have this whole assessment structure where we are identifying the learning gaps, we are identifying what concepts, we are identifying what skills. So can this be turned into a tool for teachers? And what we did was we packaged everything inside a homework module. And we told the schools that all you have to do is that as you teach a particular concept, you just assign the homework on Counting Well. Let the children go and do the homework on the app. And as they solve the problems, we will identify what learning outcomes they're achieving and what learning outcomes they're not achieving. And that will become a report for the teachers. So the teachers will get to know, the school administration will get to know, and they will not even have to go and ask the child or make him stand up in the class and try to solve a problem and, kind of put the child in an embarrassing situation. And if they don't solve the problem, then other people will make fun and stuff like that. The child is just solving the problem by doing the homework. And while that is happening, we are able to extract all this data and give it to teachers. And that becomes the first step for the teachers to determine if the children are meeting specific learning outcomes or not, or achieving specific learning outcomes or not. And second, based on that, then what is the intervention they should be providing? And within the Counting Well app also, we provide that first level of intervention. So the child is not told that you don't know and you're stupid and this and that, but instead we are just saying that you have this to learn in order to complete this particular topic. So why don't we learn this together? Why don't we learn the next thing together, and so on. The other thing that happens is that we need to also bring in a sort of differentiated learning and differentiated assessment in the classroom. Again, that's easy to say, but very difficult to implement given the size of our syllabus, size of the classrooms, amount of time that we have, and all of that. But if we are really able to achieve that, right? Two things that we can do, what we are doing at Counting Well, and I'm sure that it can be improved upon even more, is that one, we give differentiated homework to children. So now, based on where the children stand in terms of their problem solving abilities and what concepts they know and what they don't know, we give them different set of questions to solve. Because not every child is at the same level, we know that. We try to put the children at par. So typically the homework that is given in the classroom is, teacher takes out the maths book, says go to chapter 6 section C and do the first 10 problems in this and come back, right? That's the homework. Now we are expecting that all the children are at the same level, so they will be able to solve all the 10 problems in the same way. But that's not the case. We all know that, right? So the children are not at the same level, then why are we giving them the same set of problems to solve? And if we give them the same set of problems to solve and they keep getting it wrong again and again, then we are setting them up for failure, right? We are telling them that you cannot solve, but solve it again. Now you still cannot solve it again. How is that going to help the child? So what we really need to do is create that differentiated work for them, make sure that we go down to their level. And then when the learning is given to them, then even that becomes differentiated because we know what those gaps are. Then we can give them that very specific learning for them. It's very personalized. And then we take them, a step above as they achieve those specific learning outcomes, rather than saying that everybody is expected to achieve the same learning outcomes today, and tomorrow it will be a next set of learning outcomes, and day after tomorrow it will be a next set of learning outcomes, without any differentiation depending on the children's abilities, right? Now, there are good children in class, there are average children in class, there are bad children in class or struggling children in class. Good children are few, strugglers might be few, average are many, but we kind of tend to overlook the average because they are the quietest in the classroom, right? They don't ask questions. The backbenchers, maybe they have fun, they do whatever, they even ask questions just to have fun. Front benchers are obviously very involved, but the middle benchers are the ones who are actually tend to be ignored. But they are the ones who need a lot of attention. And with that little attention, with that little differentiation, I think that they can easily come up, right? And when we do all this, when we give them the differentiated learning, when we give them differentiated assessment, when we show them that they are able to achieve something, they become more confident in their own abilities. They also become better self-learners because they think that I can do this on my own. And that is when they become better problem solvers as well, because now they are trying to do things on their own. They're trying to learn on their own. They're trying to participate in their learning process. And, by doing all that, they just become more confident in the classroom.
The most important thing is the confidence building among the students.
Absolutely, right? We have to make sure that we make them feel that they can achieve this. And if they can do
Right.
that, then, let's give them a higher challenge, right? But don't make it
Right.
challenging right from get-go and say that you just can't do it.
So in precise, we can say that for the teachers, it is helping. Okay, that teachers say that we have 40 minutes class and 40 students. And how do we know which topic students are lacking? Now with this, as you told earlier also to us, that the assignments are being given by the app. You don't have to make the assignments. The app will do the corrections, as well as the app will give the report to the teachers at which particular topic the students are lacking, on which he can work. So whatever time is saved by the teachers for making the apps as well as the correction work, that time they can devote it towards the students' betterment and their extra classes. And at the very same time, when the child is in the class or is absent, is not able to take up that particular topic on that day, at his ease of time, any time, 24/7, he can go into the app and he can learn that. He will do wrong. Again, the app will correct it. Again, the app will correct it until unless he is not getting the correct thing which is needed to him. That is very wonderful. And when he comes back to the class again, the next day, he is equally knowing mathematics as the front row students were. Right. Thank you so much, sir. It is really very interesting. Let's come up to the next round and request you all to keep your answer very precise, 60 seconds. Manila ma'am will come up to you. The question for you is that how does technology makes maths more interesting and easy, according to you?
The current generation of students are born with technology and they understand it better than us. I'm sure you all agree with me. They're very quick in learning. And the usage of technology definitely generates a lot of interest in children, the generation that we have. And because they see it visually and it rewards them quickly, it challenges them at the immediate next level. So the children find the concept to be understanding in a much better way because many a times it is customized. So children learn at their own pace. He or she, they cannot go through it. They can go through it over and over again because it is recorded and given. If the concepts are not clear, it brings you down to the lower level, makes your concepts understanding, and then it raises you up to the next level. And game-based learning, does not make the child feel bored at all. So immediate appreciation by the system says, congratulations, oh, you have done well, you can still do better. That motivates the learner to get glued to the system because in the classroom, as teachers, we do not use such motivating words or appreciation because as classrooms are big and teacher will not have that much of time to appreciate in every child. So here individualized personalized learning creates a lot of interest in the children. And to give you an example, this year we have started a finance lab to generate interest in children to learn mathematical concepts. So right from standard 6, these children come to the finance lab where they learn certain topics in mathematics through board games. They have snake and ladder. They have something called the flashcards kind of a thing. Because they were asked a question, and if the child is able to answer, the child is able to move the ladder and things like that. And there are some games which shows only the logo of certain companies. Then we start asking that which companies that what it generates, what is the cost of that particular product, what they are making, what is the market cost. So children have started learning on their own, and it also enhances the general knowledge. So it is beyond their textbook. It is just to create an interest in the children. This has been done. So technology plays a very important role, but of course we cannot make the children glued to technology because these children are addicted to technology these days. So we must find another way out in the classroom to make the learning interesting and give gratification at the end of the period. Yes, I have learned something.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come to Shamla ma'am. Shamla ma'am, we'll also like to know your opinion that how does technology makes maths more interesting and easy? Your time starts now.
Thank you, sir. Now everybody is prone to technology. So I think so that is the easiest method apart from the traditional way of teaching. It's a customized one according to the level, as sir has said, Nirmal sir has said, according to the level of a child. Means the basic learners, the strugglers, and the average learners are there. So if the child is if a child is going for any of the app and is learning from there, so he gets a personal tutor over there. Okay, the personal tutor can be his friend, and whenever he wants, he can get the person online, and at any point of time, he can learn from the person. And he can solve, I think so, whatever the queries are there, he can solve it. In traditional way, it happens that teacher has taught once, and the next time when the child is getting a problem, nobody is there to solve. So technology is one way of teaching, and apart from that, sir, it's the animations are there. Many animations are there, videos are there, where the child learn it from it, and it's like experiential learning. Means child experiences it. Okay, and some games are there. After each solving of maths, it gives them a point or some reward it gives. So which is encouraging for a child, I think so. Even I like doing all these small things when I come across it. So I enjoy it, and I feel like in my time it would have been there. I would have been an expert in the maths. That's my opinion, sir, in use of technology.
Absolutely right, ma'am. If technology had been there, so scenario might be different. No problem, ma'am. We'll solve it for our students now. Anirudh, sir, Anurag sir, your turn now, sir. We like to know from you that it is often seen that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it. What are your views on that, sir?
So, if you really want to relish the taste of the gulab jamun, the first thing you need to do there, you have to eat it. Learning by doing. Are you getting my point, sir? So the children must be motivated to do all the questions at their own. And they need to, hello?
Audible, sir.
Okay. Right. And then the teachers must turn as the facilitator there. They must be in position, teachers, to tell the children that, look, this is very important subject. If you can mug up the things there, but your retention, the capacity of the short-term memory is not very high. You can mug up the things there, but after a day or two, you will going to forget it. So why not to understand? Because it is beautiful subject. It is a subject which is going to be used in all the walk of the life there. And finally, you will turn as the better and the smart citizen there. Are you getting my point? So why not to do the things there? It is very easy, right? So we need to motivate the children, right, to do the questions at their own. And teachers must not solve a single question. Teachers must be just like their savior, who can just motivate the children, who can just push the children. Right? When the children started struggling, they're okay. I think that yes, you may go that way also. Just try, but let them do the questions at their own. That is the only way, nothing else. It is one of the most easiest and beautiful subjects.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Meera ma'am now. Meera ma'am, we will also like to understand your views on the saying that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it.
Yes. Understand precedes learning. So first, you need to understand. It is the first step for learning mathematics. It becomes a very fun process for all the children to learn to play with numbers, correlate with real objects. And math also helps to understand patterns, series, sequence, to quantify them. Understanding refers to a child grasping the fundamental mathematical concepts. And then, as teachers, we need to create that eureka moment in class. The first few minutes of any class sets the tone for the entire class. So once that impact is created on what is going to be taught for the day, it is very easy to manage the class. Understanding is very important for learning any concept. First, we understand, we learn, we apply, so that both are like same sides of a coin, the two sides of the same coin.
Thank you so much, sir, ma'am, for your very precise answer. It's so wonderful. We'll come up to Pramila ma'am now. Pramila ma'am, according to you, has blended learning helped children to grow in a better way?
Yeah, blended learning is something like breaking the traditional wall, bringing technology in the class. And definitely for mathematics also, because the problem was like lack of interest. If I find the like major problem for the students that why they are not taking interest in mathematics, that is the lack of interest. So for lack of interest, I mean, blended learning is something like it is a, I mean, boon for the children, because when I'm unable to understand the concept in the class today with any reason or any reason, fine, but I'm having a chance, I will go to that internet and I can find out some videos. So then and there I'm able to understand that concept. The same day I understood that concept, I could not connect with my teacher, but same day I got the concept clear to me, and that was like not a lagging behind. I'm not lagging behind with my class or with my teacher or with my syllabus. So this is the best part of, I mean, even when Nirmal sir is discussing about that app, this is the best part, that the child can go and learn that part on the app also. So somewhere some other teachers are there, some other, I mean, helping agents are there. So the major problem what the student was having, he not unable to connect. And in mathematics, if you skip one of the concept, you cannot come to the second. And in mathematics, we used to get marks for steps also. We are not getting marks for the answer only, we are getting for the steps also. So if you are unable to understand that step, so somewhere you are not, I mean, going properly in mathematics. So this is the best part of the technology over here. Another thing, when you are having a 3D view of that shapes, or I mean, you're talking about something which, I mean, through the videos, if you are learning it, so a better understanding is there. When you are looking at something, some case studies are shown over there through the videos, so a better understanding is there in, instead of, I mean, that board and chalk which we are always taking it. Another thing, when you give a kind of a problem to the children, that, I mean, this is a problem, and you 4 5 students are there in a group, and if I am not wrong, I well remember in my time, we were like, one of my teacher was there, and they used to give us a revision kind of thinking. You take one chapter, and that chapter was given to 4 5 students, and all those 4 5 students were preparing that chapter, and they will be presenting it in front of the class. So means that 5 students will be well versed with that chapter. So not only for one
Right.
topic, that you can ask anything to these 5 students. So in that way, that 5 students are well versed, and when I'm presenting it in front of other students, so other topics are like, now we are talking about as a point, with the viewpoint of a student they have prepared. It's not from the like point of the teacher. So these are the things here also. I mean, the collaboration, the collaborative, the cooperation, the teamwork. It also, I mean, is very, I mean, important here. So blended learning is something which will be personalized for them. They can have their own management. In the sense, self management is, I mean, taught to them, that they are having their own access to the internet. They can understand, okay, this is my time, and I can sit over there. I can solve this problem. So definitely, it is, I mean, a very good thing for the
Right.
children.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Nirmal sir will come up to you. First of all, your views on the second round. And second thing, the most important thing is the gadget time. Again, the same problem is always there, that you say that mobile should be taken away. Now you are saying to give the mobile to the kids. What about that? That is the most important, point of the parents.
Absolutely, sir. I think that's been the biggest hurdle, I would say, in a way, for adoption of technology, right? Especially during COVID, there was no choice, so everybody used whatever gadgets they could lay their hands on. And then, as soon as the regular school started, the parents snatched them back with a vengeance. So, they don't want the kids to get them back. But what we have done is, for example, that we realized that, and a lot of teachers and schools came back to us also and said that, this is a problem. And Manila ma'am also brought this up, that uh, the way we structured the whole learning plan for them, right? I think it's important to know that, one, for kids, gadgets are exciting, right? For them, if they can learn on a gadget, it's more exciting than learning from a book. uh, we would want it to be otherwise, but that's the reality, right? That's how the kids are. So how do we find that balance? So what we did, for example, was that we broke down the whole content, all the learning content that we have, into what is aligned with very specific learning outcome that they have to achieve. And we actually, for every year or every grade worth of learning, we have almost 300 odd learning outcomes, and then we link the content with each of them. So now what happens is that it becomes very small pieces of content. So then when the children learn, what we do is we tell them that all you have to do is learn for about 20-25 minutes today, and in those 20-25 minutes you will learn enough which is worth about 3 to 4 learning outcomes, and that's more than enough, right? Because if you even do that, then if you do the math, in about 6-7 months you will complete all of the learning. So basically what we have done is that we've broken it down into such small pieces, and we call that bite-sized learning, so to speak. They can just learn for 15, not 15, but say about 20-25 minutes. And within that time period, they will achieve enough learning for the day. And then they can come back the next day and so on. So that way we restrict the amount of time that they're spending on the gadgets. and at the same time, there is enough learning which is happening for them.
That's wonderful, sir. 20 minutes working will be there. After that, the app itself will say, okay, today's work has been done and you can go now. Come back now. That's wonderful. So that's a good answer which can be given by us. And a lot of help the schools are getting it from it. And very good brands also I came to know from them. That lot of maths level has increased with the students using these AI tools. Thank you so much, Neighbor sir. And coming up to the last part of the session, which is around 5 minutes for the show, that is, before parting, we have a me time in S.S. Chandhok Talk Show. And that me time is that everybody has to sing 2 lines. Anything of your choice. So we'll start up with Shamla ma'am first. Shamla ma'am, everybody will be singing anything of your choice, original, Hindi, anything you want to sing. 2 lines only, ma'am. Of course, this is a group now. I'll be sharing the contact details with each other so that you people should know each other, be in contact. And before leaving, Shamla ma'am, your turn first, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to get connected again with everyone so that I can know if you are ready to share, you can share the numbers and your contact numbers with our center point is Chandhok sir. Chandhok sir. So I will be very glad, and I will be very glad if you're giving me the next opportunity also to share my views on any other subject. Thanks a lot.
2 lines, ma'am, 2 lines singing, ma'am. This is me time. No gyan right now. Only singing. Yeah. This is me time. Only song. Yeah, ma'am.
Song? Okay.
2 lines.
कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म ये मंजिलें है कौन सी न वो समझ सके न हम. Thank you.
Wonderful voice you have, ma'am. Ma'am, we are talking to Indian Idol people to start up a show, a season with the educationist. Surely you are going to the quarterfinals, ma'am. For sure you are going to the quarterfinals. We'll come up to Pramila ma'am now. Pramila ma'am, your turn, ma'am.
Yes, so I mean, today we have talked about mathematics only. So let me give 2 lines. 1 2 ka 4, 4 2 ka 1, but my name is not Lakan.
Sir, can I add?
Sure, ma'am, sure.
Yes.
See, we all are, Manila ma'am is La, I'm Shamala, and Pramila, we all are Las, and Nirmal sir is L. Nirmal.
That's wonderful. Yes, that's wonderful, ma'am. Anuradh sir,
just because you're saying this, in Bangalore especially, a lot of men also have A at the end of their name. So a lot of people actually end up referring to me as Nirmala. And then they're confused that they were expecting a lady and what is this guy doing here?
Anuradh sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, this is for my God, my children,
sure,
my
sir.
class students, my schools. तू ना हो नजर में तो दिन में भी अंधेरा है तू अगर नजर आए रात भी सवेरा है तू अगर नजर. Thank you very much, sir.
Wow.
Excellent, sir. Excellent.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. You are all rounder, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Meera ma'am.
चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना कभी अलविदा ना कहना कभी अलविदा ना कहना.
Wonderful, ma'am. From today, I'm a huge fan of yours, ma'am. Meera ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Manila ma'am, you're going to be the showstopper and we'll close the session with your song.
I'll sing a state anthem, our state anthem a little bit in Kannada. Okay.
Sure.
Jai Bharat Jananiya Tanujate Jaya He Karnataka Mate Jai Sundara Nadivani Galabide Jaya He Rasa Rushigala Nade. Thank you.
That's wonderful, ma'am.
Excellent,
Wonderful,
ma'am.
wonderful. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Manila ma'am. Thank you, Meera ma'am. Thank you, Shamla ma'am, Pramla ma'am, Nirmal sir, Anurod sir, for joining the show. I hope you had a good time and a good discussion today. Hope to you in another season, another session very soon. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Good night.
Chandok sir,
Thank you,
for
sir.
giving us
My
this
pleasure,
opportunity.
sir. My pleasure.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Glad meeting you on this.
Bye,
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye,
See you.
bye.
Bye bye. Thanks.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Shh. Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee?